Ever hit play on a black metal track and find yourself, well, hooked? Like, it's intense, sure, but also really memorable.
Hmm.
That's kind of the territory we're exploring today. We're doing a deep dive into Stella Pandora, the new album from Poland's Arkona, and we're using a recent review as our main guide here.
Yeah, exactly. The discussion today is really framed by that review of Stella Pandora. It's their first album in, what, 5 years? Since Age of Capricorn.
Right. And Arkona, for anyone maybe less familiar, they've got this pretty signature sound, yeah. Melodic black metal really came together around their 2016 album, Lunaris.
Definitely. Think professionally produced darkness, but with this strong melodic current running through it.
So our goal today is basically to unpack Stella Pandora using this review, figure out what clicks, maybe what doesn't quite hit the mark, and what it suggests about where Arkona is heading.
Right. So whether you're a diehard black metal fan tracking their evolution, or maybe just curious about how extreme music can be, well, catchy, this should give you a solid handle on the album's core. A shortcut, sort of.
Okay, let's dive in. So the review kicks off by saying, Stella Pandora isn't some huge left turn for the band. Seems they're pretty much operating in that Lunaris framework.
That's the baseline, yeah. The reviewer does note an improvement overall compared to Age of Capricorn, which is interesting.
Oh, improvement how?
Just an execution, maybe tightness, but, and this is a key point they make, there isn't that one massive standout track, like the title track Lunaris was for that album. Something that just sticks with you immediately.
Gotcha. No definitive anthem this time around. And it sounds like they're pushing the melodic side even further. The review mentions almost a cheesiness. Playfully, maybe? Yeah.
Cheesiness is a strong word, but I think the reviewer's pointing toward how polished and prominent the melodies are. It's very smooth in places, atmospheric too.
So pushing towards maybe symphonic or power metal territory, melodically speaking.
A little, perhaps. But the review is clear they're still firmly a black metal band. It's more about how those melodic ideas are presented. They're just very upfront, polished.
Right. And this ties into what the review says about the lead guitars, doesn't it? It sounds like they're absolutely central.
Oh, completely. The review uses this phrase, that the lead guitars dictate their fate. It's quite dramatic.
So the whole song structure kind of hangs on those guitar lines.
Pretty much. The entire album seems built around those melodic paths. And when it works, the review says it's genuinely gripping, really pulls you in.
There's always a but, isn't there? What's the downside of relying so heavily on those leads? The review mentioned a track, Necropolis.
Yeah, Necropolis is flagged as an example where it maybe doesn't quite land. The feeling is that it lacks a bit of grit. Or bite in character, as the review puts it.
So maybe the melody kind of smooths over the aggression too much in that case?
Potentially. Or maybe the other instruments feel a bit overshadowed, like the focus is so tight on the lead guitar, some of the expected black metal texture gets lost.
Okay, makes sense. Let's circle back to that catchiness idea. How are they managing that within a black metal context? It's not like you'd hear this on the radio, presumably.
No, definitely not radio-friendly in the usual sense. The reviewer's comment there is probably hyperbole. But it highlights how memorable some of these hooks are.
So how do they do it?
Well, it seems they're not ditching the core black metal elements, The blast beats are there, the harsh vocals, that dark atmosphere. They're just layering these really strong, almost hummable melodies on top. It creates this interesting contrast.
That juxtaposition. Intense, but accessible in a way.
Exactly. It's a fine line to walk.
Okay, let's get specific. The review really liked the opener, Pandora, called it the strongest track even. What makes it work so well?
Pandora seems to be the track where everything comes together perfectly, according to the review. They praise how this central melodic theme is woven through the whole song.
Giving it cohesion?
Yeah, cohesion, and they even use the term cinematic quality. Apparently there are some subtle female vocals in there too, adding another layer.
Sounds quite ambitious structurally.
Very deliberate, it seems. The review mentions the effort put into the song structures, these big soundscapes, and the changes in tempo moving between blasting and these mid-tempo grooves are supposedly really engaging.
And the bass. You mentioned that earlier.
Right. Surprisingly prominent on Pandora, adding real weight and depth to the mix, something you don't always notice as much in this style.
Interesting. Okay, so strong start. But then we get to the end of the album, the closer Aurora. Sounds like that one didn't land quite as well.
Yeah, Aurora gets singled out, but not in a good way. It's 9 minutes long, and the reviewer felt it overstays its welcome.
Ouch. Why?
It apparently has this really long, slow, kind of melancholic intro that just
Yeah.
drags on a bit too long before it kicks into what's described as a fantastic section of melodic aggression.
So good ideas buried in there, but maybe needed some editing.
That seems to be the critique. A lack of self-restraint, maybe? Like they had this cool, aggressive part, but padded it out too much at the beginning.
Yeah.
Kind of dilutes the impact, you know? Yeah, pacing is crucial, especially on longer tracks. What about Prometheus? That was mentioned as another highlight, right?
Prometheus is pegged as the second best track after Pandora. It's described as more direct, easier to get into straight away, instantly engaging.
Structurally similar to Pandora.
Somewhat, yeah. It apparently uses that same dynamic high-speed blast sections, contrasted with groovier mid-tempo parts. And again, the bass is mentioned as being supportive and present.
Sounds like a solid track then. Any criticisms there?
Just one small thing, apparently. The ending. It just sort of fades out, which the reviewer found a bit underwhelming after all the energy the song built up. A bit anticlimactic.
Oh, okay. Let's talk vocals and production. How does that stack up? Vocals first.
Pretty standard for the genre, it seems. Aggressive, desperate, contemptuous, the black metal staples. Fits the music well.
Any unique characteristics?
The reviewer makes this interesting side note about how a lot of Polish black metal vocalists have a certain similarity in style. Not necessarily bad, just an observation. Okay. And the sound quality. The production.
This is where it gets interesting again. It's described as crisp, powerful, and undeniably professional. High-quality stuff.
But. I sense another but.
But. Maybe too professional. The reviewer floats the idea that it's borderline overproduced or just a bit too polished.
Ah, the too clean argument for black metal.
Exactly. The concern is that maybe this level of polish softens the edge a little bit, takes away some of the rawness you might expect or even want from this kind of music.
Does the reviewer think it ruins it?
No, they clarify it still has enough grit, it doesn't sound sterile or anything, but there's this hint that maybe for future stuff, letting a bit more of that raw energy shine through wouldn't be a bad thing. A touch less gloss.
Got it. Okay, so let's try and pull this all together. What are the main takeaways from this review of Arkona's Stella Pandora?
Okay, so I think the main points are Stella Pandora is a solid, well-executed melodic black metal album. Very much driven by those lead guitars.
Strong songwriting, but maybe occasionally gets carried away.
Right. They show real skill in building these dynamic songs, but sometimes, like with Aurora, maybe they overindulge a bit, particularly with track length.
And the production is top-notch, technically?
But maybe too top-notch for some tastes, potentially losing a bit of that raw black metal feel. And finally, while it's a strong album overall, it's maybe missing that one killer, unforgettable signature song.
Right. So for you listening, the picture emerging is an album that refines Arkona's melodic black metal sound. It's intricate lead guitar focused, but maybe treads a line where the polish and ambition occasionally lead to overlength or a slight lack of raw bite, at least according to this review.
Yeah, which leads to a good question for you, the listener. Where do you fall on that spectrum? Does this idea of technically brilliant, highly melodic, maybe even slightly polished black metal appeal? Or do you really need that rougher, more visceral edge?
It's an interesting thought. Maybe checking out Stella Pandora and then going back to some of their earlier work, like Lunaris or even before, could be a cool comparison.
Definitely. We encourage you to give Stella Pandora a listen. Form your own opinion. See if you agree with the review's points. Think about that balanced melody versus aggression. Where does Arkona hit the sweet spot for you?